Okay, thank you, Father, for truth. Thank you for the aletheia. Okay, I'm going to try to make this. I do a lot of work for the Most High, and even though I'm going to come in and still do that, no matter what I do, uh, it just always ends up that way. It's very hard to just speak of my life without going back to the Word. I just have such a habit of doing it. I can't not do it. I try so hard to come in and just have a conversation, and then I just end up just the gospel overtakes me. So I'm just kind of having a strange day. I know that the gentleman who I'm watching the dogs for, he's kind of having a. He said he's having a little bit of a weird day, and I just feel it. It's not like that. I'm good. I'm day 181. You know, this is the laws of the Father. The cream always rises to the top. So it's not that you reap what you sow. See here, I can't do it. Can't not do it. So thanks for coming in, Iceman. Mr. Grand Solar Minimum name. I like Iceman because that's where we're headed. The age of the solar minimum is upon us. The sun has stepped down its cycle, the last 3 solar cycles. So it's upon us. I'm waiting. See, I'll try to have the talk a little bit. I'm waiting. If you hear dogs out there, it's just the puppies. There's 11 of them out there in the kennel. Guy needs a break from 11 puppies. For 5 months, he's been taking care of those dogs without a break. So if you hear puppies in the background, he still got 3 of them with him, but he had 14 dogs. I've had 14 dogs before. So if you hear puppies going in the background, it's just little cutie pies. Maybe you might go out there for the end of the stream, go check them out. But I want to wait for the concrete work that I need to do until the weather is conducive. Oh, hallelujah, brother. It's not, thank you, Father, please, Iceman. You know what I mean? It's God who does this to us, right? He draws us to him. I always take a break for the word. It doesn't matter. My life means nothing to me. It's just the word. That's all I have. You know, I spent thousands of hours with the Father in my own head. He's all I talk to. I've been so blessed. I was just thinking before I came onto this stream, I'm like, wow, you so blessed me, Father, to beat me. But look at all this time I had to talk to you, pray to you, you know, every day, talk to you every day alone. Nobody to interrupt me, and nobody did but me or myself is the only thing that's caused that interruption. So, you know, I've been so blessed to have time to study, and just the time, that's what I was thinking again. The time that I have. Most people seek money. Oh, I gotta have money. I gotta have, you know, if you, brother Jim, he teaches about, that's the love, the breathing, you gotta have, you know, the you know, the lust after the, I think it's just puppies on that. Oh, he said he'd come back by. He's just not feeling good. I feel bad. I gave him some pork because I don't eat it. Somebody gave me some pork and I gave it to him. It was still good because it was all frozen, but he said he felt like he ate Taco Bell. So I was like, oh, you don't need to say anything else to me. So anyways, what's going on, puppy? Just no, I told that you can go outside. You wanted to stay in here with the dad. So, yeah, you stay. Okay, my bad. The puppies are alerting to they know the other puppies are out there. So anyways, they've had a good time because the other dogs have come out here. I'll get back into this. Been all over here. They've had company. These guys don't get company again. The time, guys, the time that I've had to study, it's just a blessing to, that's why I said I feel like I've, you know, reached a peak. I'm not done because he's not done with me, but this is more than I could have ever dreamed of, and more than I could have ever imagined, more that I've ever, you know, strive for. So, you know, this isn't, you know, it was him, you know, this is, money's the root of all evil. No, the love. You got to get it. Got to wake up. Who do you love? Who do you go after? Who's your compass? So my compass has been him because he did it in me. You know, he did it in me. So if I did not call out to their hearts to seek after me, the great I am, their flesh, their laws, they go after their self. They don't want to listen. They're just cardinal in nature. I made them that way. You know, he makes us this way. He makes us born of this corrupt dust, test us from the minute we get right? It's a test of your faith. Remember the new living will and testament, right? Hallelujah. So um, I couldn't be more. Um, I didn't get cheated in this lifetime to spend all that time in my head talking to him, and even now I get to talk to him all day. And so, anyways, I feel blessed. So to understand and discover these celestial markers, to have celestial eyes in this time where most aren't wise and don't the redemption draweth nigh. He says he's the redeemer, the one who paid the bride price for the ones that he chose from the foundation of the world. So his lamb that he calls out in that book of the lambs, right? The wedding feast of the lambs, right? When he comes and he tarries, he left. He's not here anymore. He said he would come back, not in the flesh. Burn this place with fire before he ever comes back in the flesh. That's the new world, the new heaven and the new earth. That's not here. So, but he said he would come back and he would redeem, and pick up what he paid for already. But they had to pay spiritual, not that it wouldn't fall to the flesh. So it's a tough world, roundabout. I fight the flesh every day because all this stuff that I do, it seems pointless. I mean, I'm super excited. My son's potentially about to come back out here, so I wouldn't be so alone, isolated. Because he is, and you guys, my brothers and sisters here at Grace and Truth High Desert and Predestined for Light here, I have a body of my, I feel like I have a connection. I mean, not yesterday in the Grace and Truth live stream was a little bit of a check from one of the viewers that I brought from here, from the TikTok channel and then over there, but it's okay. It's not, I can't make people into sheep or goats. That's already, remember, it's predestined. He said he would leave and he'd come back and he'd pick up his bride. He'd tarry, come back, redeem us. I can't make people have a seeing eye. He removes the scales from the eyes that who he chooses, and he gives those who he chooses to have a hearing ear. So scales of those who he chose will be removed, only those. So it's not many, most don't have the hearing ear or given the eye to see, because they just fallen under a delusion of flesh or of translation more than anything. It's just it's just the world is so perverted, forwarded, and twisted from the original, but it's all by his will after his own counsel. So I don't question. So, but it's a little tough. So as I'm fighting my daily flesh, knowing that the most important thing that he's called out to me to do for, decades, many, 20 years ago, knowing a lot about how the heavens, I wasn't called spacey, crazy Tracy for nothing. I'm Apocalypse. I'm a revelation. My name Tracy is not who I am. That's a temporary meat suit, just a physical. Remember, I don't fall for the flesh. I'm this energy, this not ghost. I'm a temporary. I'm a eternal. I never end spiritual being having this temporary physical experience. When I will, this flesh will go right back to the dirt work. I'm a man of the land and soil. I came from this corrupt dust. I'll go back to this corrupt dust. Every one of us, everything, the screen that I'm on, the screen that you're on, everything on this wall, everything behind you and the wall behind you will go back to the dust. But I'll come back here. And if his words are correct, and I have done, walked and followed, if I loved him, 2 John and 6, and I'm meek, I don't fall for that flesh, because he paid that testament, that price, the bride price, that new living will. He was the testor. So this ain't no idiocracy religion to me. This is a contract that I am under. I take it seriously. I don't play around with his word. He said, don't, that's the very last aletheia. That's the truth. The very last truth that he left us with, his last words before he left. He said he would go to where his father's house is at, right? Where there are many rooms, he would prepare a place for his bride that I'm talking about. See, it's not some stupid religion. I despise and I really hate most religions because they they're an apostate to that aletheia, to the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, the creator of all these things. That word in the beginning was I am, the creator of all things. All this was created with, see, I'm just that creation of that word. I'm not this flesh. I came from this corrupt dust. I'll go back to it. And then not Tracy. I am apocalypse. I am revelation. You understand? A living testament. He paid in the flesh so that I don't have to. I have to pay in spiritual flesh with spiritual blood and be spiritually baptized. My garments washed clean, white and spotless. He wants to find his bride when he redeems her, the ones he calls out in that book. So it's not no stupid religion to me. Don't get it forwarded. Don't get it perverted. Don't get it twisted. It's a contract between a bride and the bridegroom. And as a bride with Terry, so it was a contract. There was formalities. If people would just study, they'd understand that this isn't some twisted religion. This is a contract between the bride and the bridegroom. And he divorced his bride for worshiping the same thing and going after flesh, and the same thing people do today. Nothing different. Remember, I breathe hard. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I gotta have it. So I gotta take this call. This is the gentleman. Okay, there we go. Hi, we're back. We're live. We're doing it live. We'll do it live. So no script here. We're just going from the hip, right? All right, so let's go back to our discussion about I will come back and I will redeem you. I will receive. I will pick up my purchased possession. Those that I will call out in that Lamb's Book of Life. It's a redemption. It's purchase price. So we must pay in spiritual blood. Be spiritually baptized in the blood of the Lamb, as he wants to find our garments white and spotless. Correct? Hallelujah. So it's not some twisted religion to me. And I don't do that. And you know that. That's why I won't let anybody put a label on me. I don't like my name, because it's not, name is Shem. Not Jesus. Name is authority. Not I am. Well, I am is the law. See, it was all created. It was all, that is it. That is name. Name is Shiloh. The inheritance, the one who holds the inheritance to the church. My love, my agape, Shiloh. So the one I talk to every day. Thousands and thousands of hours in my head. Hallelujah. So time is what's most important to me, not money, or not the things of the dirt that come from the dirt, including everybody on the screen. All of our screeds came and go back to the dirt from the corrupt dust. So hope you don't fall under the self. Talks about this time, the age, the end of the age, the beginning, that, you know, this age, this passing, that their love, their 2 John 6, like, who do you love? What do you go after? You know, do you breathe heavy, hard? Do you have to have it? Gotta have it. I gotta have that job. I gotta have that wife. I gotta have that car. That's that's agape. That's your love. Then that's your character. If you get up and that's all you do is money, then that's all you got. So that's your love, and that's who you serve. And you can't serve two masters. If your master is the mighty dollar, and you need money. I'm not saying you can't have money, brothers and sisters, but if it's your love. So he knows he's only going to take his bride. They don't love money. They don't, their self. See, he says in the end of times and the days that their agape, their love, will be idolatry, self. There will be lovers of self, their own law, their own Shem, their own name. They'll be lovers of, they'll celebrate their own birth Yeah, you have to have money. I'm not saying you don't have to have money. You can have money. You can have money. You just got to be able to fit through that gate. Don't be too rich. Don't have too much money, because all rich people go to hell. And so do all famous people. They all go to hell. So careful. Don't make yourself too rich. Don't have too, you know what I mean? That's why I don't try to grow up in what I'm doing out here. I don't want to try to be some big thing. Everything I made is out of scraps. Have you seen it? It's all repurposed. Everything out here, everything I build's out of nothing. Stuff most people burn, throw away, put in a burn pile. So, but anyways, don't have too much. And it's the love of money. And I'm telling, remember, it'd be easier for a camel to pass through an eye of a needle than a rich man. So all rich people are going to hell. They won't fit through the straight gate. See what I'm saying? So there we go. See, my service is always for the Lord. I was trying to talk about myself and a little bit, just not like that, just to give you an understanding how I'm feeling today, man. I'm just, the gentleman who called me, he's not feeling good. He's the one who has these dogs. He just called me to check in. He's super like that. He's the gentleman who lives down the road. You guys, he came out here to kind of do the same thing that I wanted to do. It's a sad case. It really is, but it's God's doing. And I've tried to remind him of that. He came out here trying to build a community. This is an awesome place. He likes to ride motorcycles and quads and bikes and fixes. And that's a lot of his, and because it's out here by the dunes and stuff, and he got a nice parcel. He's got a 20-acre. He's a couple more. The guy's got the one up on the road, and he could get not one person, two guys. See, I'm not the only person. He's only 3 or 4 miles down the road from me, and he tried to do the same thing I did out here. See, I'm not alone, and I've been trying to remind him because his heart's broken. You can tell he's beaten. He really wanted people to come out and enjoy. He built a track by hand, guys. He literally went out like me, all to my roads, everything. Very similar, very similar. He's a good dude, and that's why I'm watching his dogs. For 5 months, he's been bred dogs out here, guys, in the winter, and did what he just did, off grid, having a litter of puppies. I brought him to brother Jim. He's watched. This just thinks that an incompatible charger. Never seen that screen pop up, guys. Whoa, that was weird. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, he understands. That's who he is today. He's battling God today. He's fighting with God. And I told him, it's all right, Rick. I understand, but I got you. I know. Oh, darn it, God, why me? Why? David had 150 concubines and 150 wives. God, why? I can't even have one. He's like, thank you, brother. I said, I hear you, brother. He does all things after his own counsel, and he, we're all there. We all have our battles with the Father, but he does, again, he's a little bit of a struggle too, because he's trying to go after and do the righteous thing, get out of the wide path, get out of the wide. He's out here in the narrow from the cities and has tried to really, he don't drink, he don't do drugs, he don't, he's a good dude, he's had some crazy wild past, but don't we all, he's not into none of that. He just wants to enjoy his land and have a community and grow a garden. And he built a race motorcycle track and then nobody came, and he's been out here about 4 or 5 years, maybe. I remember when his stuff first showed up out here, I was like, first little car parked out there. You see how people do it out here, guys. But anyways, he's trying to get permits and do it all, get his house completely built. And he's a little stressed right now because he has on a timeline to get everything. They give you a certain area of time. Once you get about 6 months after you file your permitting, all what you do out here to turn out a building, so that you can. Anyways, I don't do none of that. I'm a man of the land and soil, born of this corrupt dust, and I'm going to go back to this corrupt dust. I don't claim nationalism, sovereignty. Remember, I don't even claim my name. I'm just this physical, temporary meat suit. I'm actually an eternal being that never ends, from the past and the future. I'm both. Yeah, I don't ever end. So temporary physical experience, eternal spiritual never ends. So Tracy? No, apocalypse. I'd rather somebody tell me my name, my I am, my Shiloh, my love is revelation. It's the revealing of this aletheia, this forwarding, this perverting of his Shem, his name, his authority. Hallowed be thy Shem. Our Father who art in heaven, glorify, edify, lift up daily. Hallowed be thy Shem, thy law, thy Agape. Hallowed be thy Jesus. Hallowed be thy Shiloh. Hallowed be thy law, my name, my testament. Hallowed be thy new living will. How about that? Is that perverting? Am I adding? Because remember, if I add or take away, I'll be taken out of that book. Isn't that what that Lord's Prayer is telling us? Our Father who art in the rule, who's your ruler, who art in heaven, Christ in you, not in space. Remember? Don't want to get on that lesson. Yeah. He will come back. Thy kingdom come. Remember the kingdom of heaven, that through much talipsis we must go to be in that kingdom of heaven, as Paul told us, that kingdom of God, which the one is when you come back in the flesh after he burns this one with fire and takes the evil from this earth. That's what the word says. Hallelujah. Not in the sky, here on earth as it is in heaven. As is above, so is below. The ruling class and the ruled, the heavens and the earth, principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, and the rulers of the darkness of this world. He will burn them with fire. The meek will inherit. Shiloh, the promise, the inheritance, the return of the King in the heaven. Shiloh, the one who holds the inheritance and will give it his bride. Those that are meek, wise, testament, new, fulfilled, flesh, old, do not fall under the flesh, but a spiritual testament they are under. Garments white, spotless, washed with spiritual blood when he returns, his redemption as he picks them up and takes them to the wedding. It's not some silly religion, isn't it? Not to me, it's not. Yeah, so you built yourself out of scrap and you feel humble. You're tripping. You don't even know what you're talking about. It's only your interpretation of a life and the tribulations you lived here. Sure, eh? No, I don't think, Santo. I think you're a filthy swine. Get behind me, Satan. Obviously, by your answer, you don't even know me from the backside. 2 wings to the same dragon, 2 cheeks to the same hole. Goodbye. I don't keep company with vipers. So anyways, brothers and sisters, I want to have just a little bit of a personal talk here. Again, I'm pretty excited about my son potentially coming out here. The discussion I told you, even from when Iceman came at the beginning, I can't just talk, and just have a little discussion about it. I just want to serve his purpose because that's what he makes me do. He commands me to do it. But I want to be real a little bit, try to have just a little bit of a discussion here. Subterranean talk. All the elite are doing it. All the rich are doing it. Principalities, powers, spiritual wickedness, rulers of the darkness of this world, right? They're getting ready for this event, brothers and sisters. There's chasms, lithosphere, right? Lithosphere, that is the terranean below our feet. There's massive chasms because people have gotten ready for this event before, and that's the reason why a lot of us still exist today, because they went to places to get away from the weather and the celestial firmament that, sun and those things affect, the rotation of, Jupiter, and, celestial revolution, and it's, there are things that are happening. I don't believe in space balls. Remember that? They're markers and they do affect this earth. I don't go for the nonsense. That's why I call out, the space ball channel in here, and it's not no mention of God, and the earth cannot be moved from its foundation. But anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, he's already called out to people because they looked up at the heavens and knew that it was about to throw some serious weather at them. So climate change, climate's always been changing. I think they might be ready to announce that something's wrong with the magnetosphere, guys. We can't keep having these low latitudes, events, auroral, proton, bombardment through that magnetic protection, and I know that it's hard for a lot of people to follow that, we have all these layers, magnetosphere, that's, because it's, I don't know, it's, and I can't worry about people's ignorance. That's the magnetic canopy protection, that protects us from the sun's heliosphere, that magnetic protection that has its own. The Earth has a magneto, helio. Those are both the sun's layer. Helios is obviously, heliosphere is like a double. Interesting, right? So, anyways, we live within this stratus being the top of our atmosphere. Okay, and there's layers that go all the way down to the troposphere. That is the lowest layer that we live on, the crust below the lithosphere. Lithosphere is or lithosphere. I like lithosphere, man. Lithosphere is what it is. It's LITHO sphere. That's the crust, that soft, and then the harder rocky layer below, down to the mantle, the core, all that. I don't want to get into that. Okay. But men and women alike, because women are very brilliant and smart, and so are men. They have women, I believe, have stronger instincts, because they have, in some ways, because they have what is called intuition, that though they're a woman, they think much more emotional and then rational. Not that they can't be rational, but they might think of something that a guy would not, because they tend to their minds are more emotional. It's just the way he wired us. It's beautiful. I think that's what gives a woman her, obviously, too, her feminine side, and to think of things that, again, I was saying, I hit you over the head and bring you in the cave. And, no, they have more than just, the. So anyways, they knew to do this and to find themselves places in the chasms and the rocks, and dig and dig. And there's massive, 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 subterranean places in this earth. And so that's what this conversation is about, is subterranean, and that most people ain't doing anything about it. That's all I'm saying. I don't think this experience that we're going to go through is going to be a permanent deal. You get in a tornado shelter and the tornado blows over, and you get out and you look around and you go, man, I'm glad I had that. Oh, look, their house is gone. Their house is here. It's it's hit and miss. We don't know what's going to happen. God controls the stars within the firmament, and controls and spins the sun, and does what he does with these, the way all the mechanics of these cycles and revolutions and revelation, I am apocalypse, of this truth that I'm trying to show you. This is going to affect you can't run from the stars or this magnetosphere. Or what about the auroras? Oh no, this is not happening. See what I'm saying, guys? Pretty soon the visuals on this, that aurora borealis, that is protons bombarding our atmosphere. That is not a good thing. Whether it's pretty to look at, I've lived in Alaska, but you're not supposed to be seeing that in Ukraine and Texas and Florida, pink, yellow, red. I mean, all these are, and you're supposed to have massive bombardment like an X-ray flare. We've only ever had, since 1859, we had a massive, what was called the Carrington event. It was an X-2030 massive, hit our Earth direct facing from the sun, the energy that hit our sun coming from the sun, and it knocked our magnetics started moving from the pole position, and it started moving away. It hit our Earth that hard, and it rocked this Earth, and it created down towards the equator low latitude auroras. And it took a massive X event to make that happen, to be seen down that low. Of course, you see auroras up towards the tops or whatever. I don't want to talk about the shape. You see those. It's visually can be seen. Again, that's not good. That's a bombardment of proton through our magnetosphere, the protection from the sun, from the energy. It's ionized and deionized gases, brothers and sisters. That is plasma. Okay, if you understand, this is electric sun that's up there, and we live in this circuit within, you know, it's all connected, brothers and sisters. It's all connected. There's, you know, within what we, and I don't want to go into stupid, idiotic spinning balls in science. You see these auroras, it's pretty. I've seen them. It will take your breath away, but you're not supposed to be seeing auroras unless you have massive, again, Carrington events like that, which we've only ever had since 1859. That event that I'm telling you about, that X flare, bam, hits our Earth, starts the migration of the magnetics, not a pole shift, but a magnetic migration of our Earth's, we'll call them poles for you, so you know what I'm talking about. The pole shift they keep talking about, that's when the compass would go like this. That happens every 11 years on the sun, 22 on the moon. See, that's what I'm saying. Most people don't. And some of this is basic. I'm not trying to be above anybody. We were taught a lot of this stuff through elementary and at least to high school. Some of this is basic mechanics. I'm not trying to get all sciencey so people can understand. If they don't hear this live, they come back, and because I do have continued people come back and watch the stream. I know they don't watch all of it, but some people are continuing to watch these live streams, and I want people to understand how this works so they can relate and understand. You don't need a science degree. You don't need to be with NASA. You don't let anybody tell you that you can't pay attention. It's the way the stars, without television, television, trek through the heavens and the circuit, how the mechanics of how these things work. That's not astrology. That would be considered astronomy, okay? Some of the people need just to grow up. I've been kind of doing that the last couple of days. I don't want to hang out with childish people. You know, to be matured is to be seven, and there are 7 things he expects us to do. And obviously, if somebody's coming in here and I'm called them childish, they're not doing those 7 things. It would be obvious if they wouldn't be putting the fruit that they put in here. So that's why I don't keep companies with vipers. I don't cast my pearls before swine, brothers, sisters. I'm not a heathen. I don't believe in other deities and gods and things of that. This is what's the ignorance of people. They want to pervert and forward and get into all this other lunacy is what it is. A bunch of lunar, I talk to people I have hearing. I have hearing ears and seeing eyes. So this celestial gas giant alignment that I'm speaking of, don't be heathen. Jeremiah 10, be not dismayed at the ways of the sides of the heavens. Not trying to cause people to be in alarm for the way the stars trek and circuit through the heavens. Through the firmament. See, we already went. He's going to destroy this place with fire. He's going to come give the inheritance, and they will be the ruling class, the heavens, only those that are meek and will turn their cheeks 7 times 70, give the opportunity for forgiveness. So anyways, let's get back to what I'm talking about. This subterranean, people got away from these cycles because they knew that it was, and again, you could take a look at the evidence right now. You just need to look at our upper jet streams, upper layers of our atmosphere to see that they are all twisted. They're all been bent. We now have, just like we have these low latitude aurora events, we now have subtropical mixing with, polar and coming back down over the equator. It is, I've never seen anything like this, and I've studied this for decades, brothers and sisters. So this effects are already happening up here. And as I was telling you, as you see that proton bombardment of our magnetosphere, and you see an X20 or 30 flare that causes the magnetics, we've only ever had 2 of those type events where it pushes those auroras down towards the equator, subtropical, normally seen in the polar regions, but not in subtropical. Auroras aren't supposed to be down here 2 times in an 11-year cycle. Remember Jupiter cycle? I wonder what causes that. But yeah, 2 times in 11 years, brothers and sisters, we've only ever had where it's gotten down that low because it took massive X flares in 11 years. 2, and since 1859. Last year, we shattered the records. We had not 3, not 4, but 5 low latitude aurora events. We didn't even have X-class flares, brothers and sisters. We didn't even have high energy proton bombardment through our magnetosphere, the magnetic protection, our magnetic canopy, the field strength of the magnetic. Remember, a magnet either sticks together, or if you flip them around, they won't push apart. Remember, the sun has a heliosphere. We have the magnetosphere. Those two that push together don't. That's what protects us. That magnetic protection. Okay, heliosphere, magnetosphere. This sun, if I take a magnet here somewhere. Anyway, I have a magnet. If you take a magnet and you stick it in a fire and you get that magnet hot, heat makes magnetism dissipate. Remember the other side of magnetism I'm talking about, brothers? Remember the sides that won't push together? Remember if you were a kid in school, you flip the magnet over, you can push that around on the desk and don't send the magnet going that way. That's opposition magnetism. A lot of things magnetism, they always think about this sticking to there, or forget that it has that other side. And then that if you do an actual reversal of one opposing, that it'll get to a point where it'll remember and rewrite itself. That is a 40 degree where that happens. But what I'm talking about is the sun has a magnetosphere up here, and we have our heliosphere, the energy coming from that. So that is faded. So we don't have as much. And in the last 11-year solar cycles, we are in solar cycle 25 right now, 24, 23, and 22. The sun's energy that it was pushing out. Okay, here I can show you visual. Got to get going here in a minute, guys. Got to get to work and have this discussion. Stop trying to teach. I didn't even come in here and do what I was trying to do. Just trying to have the discussion so I can get it out of my head. This is our magnetosphere that I'm talking about. We have this would be called like a toroidal field. This is how the Hebrew language is created. If you know what you're looking about, it looks like an apple. You know, they say that we have a northern and a southern pole. I'm trying to make you understand magnetism, okay? But this is what I'm talking about. If you think about that's like a balloon. Looks like an apple, doesn't it? That's your toroidal. We have what they call a shock. I don't believe none of that nonsense. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about. As this heats up, it gets bigger and bigger, okay? As heat would expand. Now, magnetism, you put heat to it, it dissipates. So the atmosphere normally blows up when we have regular solar flares. Heat expansion. The last 3 solar cycles, 22, 23, and 24, the solar cycle has stepped down the energy, therefore our magnetosphere has shrunk down. That means it's closer. We're closer together. If I'm in a big, huge, large circle and I try to get close to you now, look at the distance between here and here. Now I'm in a little tiny, you are the sun. See this little ball that I'm in? Now I'm closer to you. Now you're in here. Are you in here? You see what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. You don't need a master's, bachelor's, and you can go further, doctorate. I don't want to hear about it. Space balls. Okay. Our magnetosphere weakens when it heats up. If you take a magnet and you throw it in the fire, I do a live stream. It might be an hour or two. Can't just do a short one. To let the fire burn out, it's not a magnet anymore. Magnetism dissipates with heat. Why do you think the sun is white? Nothing's changed with the sun. There's no sun up there. Solar, they created a sun. Hocus pocus. It's white because in the last 3 solar cycles, 11 to 30, almost 3 years ago, the sun was yellow-orange and not white. Because the magnetosphere it heated off, it scrubbed it off, it's melted away, it's whatever you want to call it. It's not there anymore. So I think they're about ready to announce that something's not right. Because we had 5 low latitude aurora events in 1 year without even. They saw Texas, yellow, pink, Mexico, New Mexico, Arizona, it's all pink, yellow, red, all these Ukraine. These are subtropical, brothers and sisters. You are not supposed to be seeing this unless you have high X-class proton events. This is their perfect cover. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. I hope I'm wrong, but Mr. 46 Puppet that not 81 million people voted for, are you that bad at math, Common Core? He is an announce, and it's gone ABC, always broadcasting crap, you know, all these faux news, the Fox, the 666 channel, right? Fox, get it? You know, all these MSLSD, all these mainstream media channels are pumping out this Mr. 46, not sleepy, creepy, is announcing that there's going to potentially, he's going to announce a national climate emergency. I think I figured out what they're going to do, guys. They have all this. It's not, maybe they won't. We only have 181 days, and potentially, I told you, I think this weather event will affect this earth long before that date. The tidal shift is what we haven't even got into in this potential, you know, discussion here, but I don't know how far I want to take it. I have to get ready for this event. I've been getting ready for decades, you know, but the world's just going to sleep on it. And that's all right. I know he showed me. Ole gas, Tracy. Ole gas. Very few, puny number. I actually I want it to come upon them like a thief. They'll be overtaken. It'll come in, you know, waves, and they'll be lulled back to sleep it'll pull back, and then it'll come back stronger, and it'll pull back, and it'll come back like a woman in labor. It's the pullback when they don't see it doesn't matter. It just keeps labor pains, like sorrows. It's not the end of the world. There'll be wars. There's always been wars. Rumors of wars. Are we at war or not? 3? I don't know. There'll be famine. Come on, guys. This is not pestilence, disease, the jabba dabba doo, right? The greatest jab ever, right? Earthquakes, diverse places. No, this is not the end of the world. This is what this book says, brothers and sisters. So don't fall for none of this end of the world crap like they just did on April 8th, all this nonsense. Put them on the line. They stood on the X again, didn't they? They did it again. They stood on the X again. Silly rabbits. Tricks are for kids. This is the beginning of sorrows, labor, pains, like a woman in travail. It will start slow. It will come on stronger. It will reside back, and it'll come back strong. That's how this is happening, brothers and sisters, and it lulls most of these people to sleep. They don't see the intensity. They get predictively programmed so that they stand on the line and go, oh, well, we had a national emergency. School closure, national emergency, school closure, national emergency. Oh, hey, we have this tidal event. It's all right. We already have a roadblock set up. See, I've already tried to explain to you, brothers and sisters, they are getting ready for this event. This celestial marker that has been left in the heavens for us to be wise and look up to see that it happened over at the time of Christ. As he predicted the destruction of the temple 3 years prior, no stone would be left upon another. Nebuchadnezzar destroyed that temple, and every building in Israel, correct, turned it to rubble, pieces of gravel, and then plowed salt into the land so nothing would grow there for a lifetime. The seas and the waves will be roaring. It tells us the nations will be perplexity. Maybe this has something to do with that tidal event that I've been telling you about. I don't think I'm going to be wrong. God is controlling this circuit of these stars in the firmament, not me. Don't be a heathen. Don't be dismayed. This tidal event, I believe, is nigh at hand, but it's not up for me to make that decision. I don't control the moon. I don't control the sun. I don't control Jupiter. It's an elliptical orbit. It's circuit, the way it treks through the stars. I can only control what's here on this, within this troposphere. Maybe the lithosphere. Yeah, subterranean. That's what they're getting ready for as the world sleeps. It will be a planet, all four corners of the round table, right? Oh, all four corners of the earth. You can't run from the stars, and you're not going to run from this tidal shift event. If potentially it could happen because of the magnetics of this earth. and the magnetic pinch that we were going to get put into. I have videos on the channel. 10/24/24 is 181 days away. Again, I believe that this earth will be rocked by weather way before then. I just told you we had 5 low latitude. We only had low energy event, M class. So Mr. 46 has announced, hey, there's this current, sham of a governance, right? It's not him. It's the whole, whatever, the puppeteers that are pulling his, principalities, powers, the corporation called America pulling his strings. They're just front men. Television to you to get you to fall asleep at the wheel. He tells us the enemy came and sowed seeds while you were sleeping. Gee, I wonder who that enemy is. Don't fall asleep. Be wise, brothers, sisters. Have your lamps trimmed. Be burning bright. He said he wants to find your loins girded in his service. What is he calling out you to do? He called Noah out for 126 years to build an ark. That time he was using water, correct? He was going to flood the earth. The promise of the rainbow, he won't ever do that again. He don't want to see that hokey pokey turn yourself around. He already told us that's an abomination. Law, get your wife, get your kids, get out of town. I'm bringing the fire. That's his promise of the rainbow. Pretty bold of those people with pride, which is a sin, correct? A sin. The wages of sin is death. One sin. Pride is what had remember, the Most High, Satan, the adversary to God. They used to be best buddies, remember? They were like 2 peas in a pod. That's right. And he was cast from the heavens because he tried to rise above, shine above the Most High. One sin got him cast out. Good luck with your rainbow flag, silly rabbits. I won't say that, huh? Tricks are for kids. No, kids aren't supposed to be seeing that crap. Soon he's going to burn this place with fire. That's the promise of the rainbow. This ain't a tidal event, flood event, meaning, yes, this is a tidal event. Don't confuse it with the flood where that was 6,000 years ago. Know your cycles. He flooded this whole earth completely from the inside and from above. As above, so is below. There's evidence come out here. I'll show you. I can show you where he did that 6,000 years ago. There's proof of that right here where I live. But he's not going to flood the whole earth, brothers and sisters. Just a lot of it. The seas and the waves will be roaring. The nations will be in perplexity. It's seen in thousands of years ago paintings of these 4 celestial gas giants forming this alignment, potentially causing this tidal shift. So I hope you're wise and not foolish, trying to run to the store and prepare for this event. While everybody, principalities, power, spiritual wickedness, Mark Zuckerberg, Mr. Musk with his boring machines, Donald Trump with his dome caps to go over the top of the holes with this millimeter technology to cover the holes for this tidal event. Yep, I said it. Yes, I did. If you glassed a hole in the lithosphere and could dome the top, then you could have a smart city over the, smart, get in the city. Careful, it might be Hotel California. You might check in but never leave. Yeah, that would cover you. If that ray that Mr. Tesla was talking about that he built could stop a military, why couldn't it stop water? It's not even anything you can see. It's waves, millimeter waves, not literal water. The millimeter waves would protect them from the tidal event. Get it? Because of the millimeter waves, the frequency from the currency under their subterranean. Get it? Anybody? Plug a hole much? Just dig straight down. Plug it with the dome. As is above, so is below. As is above, so is below. Millimeter waves and thump smart cities. Sanctuary millimeter bowls. He talks about the bowls that would be poured out, correct? They will drink of the cup of the wrath of indignation that would be poured out. Rocks hide us and fall on us and hide us from the face of the Lord. You're not going to hide from your death, brothers and sisters. That's what I'm talking about too. So don't get it twisted in here. I'm not doing what I'm doing to try to subterranean to escape my death. But I'm going to be wise because he told me to build an ark, just like he's calling out you to do something. He's been calling out Shiloh, was it? Well, it is. It's all this. It's this thing hung there on a tree because he's three separate, but one God. Don't fall for the Catholic silly rabbit Christmas pagan Nimrod celebration. Don't fall for that, please. So I got to go here soon, brothers, sisters, but I got to have this discussion because I want to tell you how I feel just to get in my head. I have cabins to build out here because I have to make an income. I can't depend on anybody else but myself. I do appreciate everybody's help tied to this ministry, and I don't want to lean on anybody like that. I've never had to really. I've always been very self-sufficient, but after putting out this title shift of video, my financial situation has completely changed because I make my way living on the internet. It has a lot to do with what I've done too in the past by protecting this community from this tyrant law enforcement officers out here, the tyrannical government that's, governing this particular state, and then obviously try to set an example during the corona to set apart itself from the whole world, even in the United States, to try to be set apart of what I was trying to do out here, to try to be an example, be that, not shine above others with pride, but to be burning bright so others in this dark world would have, the controls, or God, how do you make your way in this place? I mean, it'd be that light, not to rise and shine above others, but to show people a way in this vessel, as we're supposed to be vessels, a vessel of wrath or a vessel of mercy. Correct? I told you, I am a vessel of him. He makes me do these things. It's not me doing it. He steers me. He's the captain of this vessel, this ship. That's why he wants, as he told Noah, to baptize the ark with a red pitch. He had to cover it and be completely covered. If he left one with a red pitch stain or die, that's bapto or baptizo, not water. He baptized the ark with a red pitch. And if he'd have left one little hole, we wouldn't even be here today. Thank you, Noah, for being not only wise, but paying attention to detail and to, making sure you covered and completely were overcome. You overcame that with that red pitch so it would float in that vessel. And he'd listen to the world as they scoffed and mocked at you for decades. Crazy old man, crazy old man, crazy old man building this boat, and it never even rained on this earth. Imagine for decades how crazy they told he was. Building this massive, ark, it hadn't even rained on this earth. Imagine what they would have said to him. Did he listen to the world, brothers and sisters? No, be in the world, but be not of it. He didn't listen to the world. He listened to that still Ruach HaKodesh, that Holy Spirit, that voice inside his head. He didn't listen to the world. If he did, we wouldn't be here. So I hope you're on to this ark vessel type thing, what I'm telling you, that hopefully he's calling out you to be preparing and being wise and doing something, loins girded, heading in his direction, doing what he tells you, so that if you are one of those that he wants to archive or have something archive you, others, or whatever, let him decide. You're not escaping your death. This isn't, when I talk about building an ark and what I've done out here, it's not some fear porn. I didn't build anything for zombies. That's ignorant child's play. Talk about stupid stuff like that, please. If there was ever zombies, I see them walking down the street. No, I don't go to the cities anymore, so I don't see anybody like that. But yeah, they walk right into traffic. Hundreds, thousands of videos, people walking right into traffic on their phones. So boing, right into walls and right into poles. And anyways, brothers, sisters, it's not for some mushroom event, where there's going to be this big mushroom cloud, or that's ignorance. That's I ain't trying to do that. That's not what I've done out here. It's an archive, away from the weather and away from the sun. So I've talked to my son about this too, and I've talked to multiple people now for years. It's not, if you've been around me, I've said this before, I just want to get it out, and I've got to go, guys, and get to work for my son's potentially coming out here. And, there's a building here that I think I want to put him in, this Rusty Dragon. So I need to get to work on that. The shelter is more important than anything, guys. So here's my mindset. Okay. You want to know what it's like to be apocalypse, revelation, you can call me Tracy, but that's just a temporary meat suit name. That's not who I am. Please don't call me that if you can help it. I don't. No, I'm all right. You call me whatever. Just crazy is okay. I'm okay with crazy. That kind of reminds me of my dad, and he's called me crazy all the time. So that would help remind me of my dad a little bit. He's gone. He died when I was 16. So, anyways, when I I can't have my son come out here. I might actually have somebody to be out here with me, brothers, sisters. That would be such a game changer for me. I've spent so many hundreds and thousands of hours by myself out here with nobody ever came. As I said, my buddy Rick down the road here now, he's got, he's moved back here recently. He's come back. He left for a little while. It's just hard to live out here alone and by yourself, especially like having a dream to build a community because you're trying to be wholesome, you'll call me anymore. I didn't know you called me there, Iceman. So, never got a call that I know of, unless something that I don't know. Anyway, so brothers and sisters. Oh, now I know what you're saying. I won't call you Tracy. I'm just kidding. You're like, not talking about this here. I'm just messing with you, Iceman. My bad. Just playing around. Try to have a good day, guys. Really, honestly, I want you to understand my mentality, what it's like to be Tracy. And I know why he has me separated and living alone out here, because nobody's being real about this, guys, other than the rich or the elite. They're getting ready for this event. I know, I'm just playing. So let's mess with you. Sorry. Let's do a little forward thing. I actually had something else going in my head, but I let it go. I just let it go. I told you I wouldn't want anybody to be in this quantum brain of mine. So anyways, here's where I'm at, guys. Here's where I'm at. Because I'm so set apart, I don't, I just put myself away. My son talked to me about this day. He's like, Dad, all you do is God. That's why you have so many problems, is because you won't do anything other than God. You just make everything about God, and that's fine. I don't. And he's very real. He's very real. I like talking with my son because he'll tell me what I don't want to hear. That's what you need. You need to hear what you don't want to hear. You need not to have somebody tickle your ear. So he's like, Dad, get over it. Come on, seriously, for somebody to be equally yoked with you. Yeah, right. As stern as you are with the word. And, and I gave an example what it'd like to be my wife, my equally yoked wife last night, on the live about if kids or no kids and how I would go about being the head of household. But see this, you got to be subservient to me, baby, when it comes to the word, and all that. But I just see a bunch of Jezebel men and women, Jezebel, Bel worship the other. So same thing. I don't know. I put myself where I'm at because he put me out here and told me, get away from this. You were born in one of the largest cities in the world, Tracy. You've seen every, potential, shape of the color of some melanin and melanated, shape, eyes. You've seen it all. You grew up around all of that. You were lucky to be the minority, if you will, to grow up and have that opportunity, but then now understand to see that that's not the path for me. You want to live in convenience. You want to live hooked up to a smart meter. You want to live in that stack and pack lifestyle where, that's fine. I'm not trying to pull people away from the broad way. That's not what I'm here to do. But I know that the narrow way is the way for that. I personally know the narrowing of self, the cutting off of the easy, broad way life is something that I've done for decades now. I've moved my son away from, been lived off grid to get him ready for this, knowing this event was coming. He had a fear of living a volcano, so I made him go live on a volcano. Just going to go live. You're afraid of volcanoes? Well, we're going to go live on one then, and we're going to do it off grid, and we're going to get you over this. God is control here. So that's just Hawaii. We lived on a This is Hawaii. We lived on. It was a good experience. You had a great experience, and he still carries a lot of memories that will never be taken from him. I think he'll eternally take some of those memories. A lot of hard times there for us too. We had some serious, tough things happen, but that's what makes us who we are. Refiner's fire, thlipsis, tribulation we must go through to be with the Father. So, it's hard because I'm so excited about my son comes out here, and I'm hoping he can make it out here. but I still have to live and get my butt back to work and do something out here, knowing that there are two objectives that I have now, more than anything. I have obviously a third. I'll never give up on, try to explain this to you. As soon as I can get these cabins going, because I got to still live like nothing's going to happen, guys. That's how I work. I know I prepare for the worst and I hope for the best. That's it. I don't live in fear. I fear the Lord. I don't fear anything in this world. I fear that I'm not worthy of his kingdom. I'm filthy rags. I don't deserve this knowledge and this understanding, and I'm not doing it the way that he wants me to do it. I'm too much of me and not enough of him. But anyways, it's a battle I fight every day, brothers, sisters. I fight this with him all the time, that I want to maybe he'll be able to come out here. I'm hoping, he's on the line, just right down to the wire with my son, and it's God doing it. And I've talked to him about this, because my son doesn't want to be in this world. He's in it, but not of it. He struggles with the same battles that I struggle. Principalities, power, spiritual wickedness. He fights that battle. He really does. He puts himself out there pretty big time. He really does. I'm very, yeah, we'll see. We'll see, guys. I'm hoping. I don't want to get too far, but he's planning, guys. He's gone from one lifestyle, to living in a city. He told me, he's like, Dad, I got all my stuff packed up, man. We're ready to, he's doing this. So he sold his little fast. He's an amazing mechanic when it comes to those sport compact or those little tuner, the loud ones, those, he's really good at that. But he's selling all that. He's bought 4-wheel drive vehicles. He's like, hey, he knows this is coming, and he wants to be ready for this, because again, he knows. And again, I think I've tried to explain, think of it as a tornado shelter, and you're going to get in it and get out, and you're going to reap the benefits of not having that, being just right in the eye of the storm, and then getting out and, hey, I'm not trying to go there, guys, like this, but if Tommy's truck is now sitting in your driveway, and you don't know how it went from his driveway 3 houses over, and it's flipped right over in your driveway, and his whole house is gone, and they're gone, and there's, you're going to reap the benefits of people who didn't get ready for the event, and it probably won't take long for this to cycle out, is what I'm trying to explain to you. So I think that's what he's been putting on my heart. I've been telling that to this platform, to YouTube, for quite some time now. You're going to reap what you sow, brothers, sisters. This is, this is an event that I believe we have years and years before we see the end of the world in Scripture, as far as that last trump, the seventh seal, the final trump. We are in the apocalypse. The heavens have already declared that. We've seen the rider on the white horse, right? The one that brought you the coronavirus and the toxin, the tip of this. Wait a minute, that's the wrong one. The rider on the white house. The rider on the white horse, Sagittarius, the one who comes with the the crown, my bad, and the bow, the toxon, the Toxon, the bow and the arrow. Man, I got that a little scrambled up. It's kind of like it's the same thing. They're in the dose. They're just like the same, aren't they? Yes, the rider on the white horse is the white horse of Revelation, brothers and sisters. The white horse, the apocalypse. We're there already. The red horse, I believe we are seeing now. All these wars and people, and all these people killing each other. That's the beginning. It's the beginning. It's not the end of the world. Sorrows, birthing pains, the increasing in intensity to go from a white horse to a red horse, and then soon that black horse. And I hope you've studied and understand what these riders are. We still have a pale green horse. See, we're not there yet, brothers and sisters. We're not there yet. We've got a ways to go. But we need to get through these days and reap what we sow, to come out on the other side of this, to be here for this. Thrive is only going to come from community. That's why Rick's heart hurts down there. Nobody would come community with him. That's why my heart was shattered in pieces. because nobody would join me after 10 years of trying to build community, building almost all this thing out complete, 80%, most things, you know, to a level somebody could come out here and build it up and be here and make it their own, because I did not want to build it all out. I don't want a kingdom. I could sit out here every day and work my butt off and have everything I need. I told that to my son the other day. He was lacking. I could tell he was hurting because he serves the Lord more than he serves the flesh. And I could have done this and I could have done that. And I said, yeah, me too, son. And I could have water in, and I could already have something for you to be out here, and all this other, all these cabins could have built the Rusty Dragon. I spend more time online and then studying and No, I don't care. That's the things of the flesh. You know, it's the things of the flesh he serves. And so it's not, you know, it's not anything that, you know, I'm concerned of, and neither is he. So he pays a price for that. But hopefully it's going to come down the line. He'll be able to get out here. He'll be able to be comfortable out here, and we're going to plan for the worst and hope for the best. So I had these buildings out here, brothers and sisters, to try to give these to people to come out and homestead. Again, heart crushed. Nobody ever came. It's not on anybody. It's on God. Lavette has followed me over from TikTok. She saw me do it for nearly a year on TikTok. But God didn't want the people out here nobody was supposed to come out here. Now I realize that more than any time. So I'm taking these buildings. As I said, you see my son adjust to what he's doing and trying to get out here because he knows he's not in the right spot for this event. He knows. He's like, Dad, I see myself, you know, water coming in. You know, he's obviously seen this. He knows. He's seen the I-5 corridor. I've shown him this. 20 years ago, I talked to my son at 5 and 6 years old. He was watching me discover how this whole I-5 was going to be inundated with water, and I was studying all these events when he was 5 years old. He's almost 25 years old, brothers and sisters. I told you I've had I called myself an information hound. I just always, where I could find that, you know, that seek that out. And that's, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not upset at anybody. My heart was broken and I'm over it, but Rick's heart's still broken, and I understand what he's going through. And that's why I'm trying to help him out. And, you know, he's a person who believes in God, and so does my son. So I hope he'll make it out here in time to build this place to live in. Because again, I fight every day, brothers and sisters, knowing that my main concern is that shelter there on this property. I need to archive the Word of God. That's what I'm here to do. Not myself so much as it wasn't a storm shelter. It wasn't a bunker. That's not what it is. Don't say that word. That gets you put on the list of the NSA. You know, don't act like they don't know what you're doing. They have satellite imagery. They see everything. So I don't have a shelter. I call it a plasma. I have an archive, an archive to archive the Word of God. If I can get in there, great, and get away from hailstones, the sun, these weather events that I tell you, that's great. But I didn't make this to escape my death. I never tried to run out here and be to escape my death. It's God that's telling me to do this. Do this. To do this because of weather. Don't freak out. You need to get away from society, Tracy. You've been in a big city. You see what's happened when people live right next to each other. That's okay, but most people don't fend by. That's why there's all this crime and all the things that happen within people living close together. We're very tribal people. We can't help it. We just tend to flock to so that's why I believe that the Most High didn't give me any community members out here. And though I have 2 or 3 buildings out here that could have been given to the people as I've shown you out here through live streams, there's enough material to build the building that I'm talking about and one next to it to build another one. So nobody came. Cool. Not a problem. Moving on. I've started to build these cabins out for a rental, a source of income, because I'd like to be able to eventually pay this land off and long-term, you know, hopefully shorter term, give it to the ministry. Donate this land to the ministry. Like, for example, I just spent $300 plus on gravel that I should have probably saved, so I'm not stressed about finances to pay the land payments out here. to continue to make the 45 acres of land payments that I have to pay with zero income. I have to do something, right? It is what it is. So that's why I've switched, like my son switched and trying to come out here, said, okay, nobody's coming to community with you, Tracy. You're not going to get that food that you wanted. Oh, well, move on. Try to eat the best you can. And no, don't move out of the country. Not yet. I want my son to be able to be secure and know what he wants to do before his, lady's making big decisions too. She has a good job making a fair amount of money, but it's city, and I don't think she wants that either. I was looking at this video talking about this article that was talking about millennials and Generation X and Z and all these generations. It sees that most people will never get to own a home, brothers and sisters. Most people will never own their own home, not in this day and age. It's just too over. Now the housing market's coming down. If you're smart, you might be able to go buy houses for pieces of silver, guys. I'm not kidding. I don't know. I'm not giving economic advice. Don't take that as economic advice. But in today's reality, most people will never get to own a home. And I'm potentially having my son to come out here and build his first home with his woman of many years now he's been with. And so I'm super excited for that. But I let my son know the whole time, guys, all this is just going to blow away potentially, or get melted by the sun, or hailstones, or all this, on the surface, not the lithosphere below, the hard crustal layer and the rocky layer of our is where the future is going to be, brothers and sisters. Temporarily in my eyes. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully because I've said, that building that I build, I plan on it being about 100 miles from here in pieces somewhere else, over in the 5 acres next door, or 20 or 30 or 100 or 200 or 300 acres. It doesn't need to go to the next city, but who knows? All this stuff on the surface, brothers and sisters, is just fun and games. I wouldn't plan on it being a permanent thing. So this is what I live with, and I've lived with for many years. So I have been fighting in my own brain, knowing that the shelter is what's the most important thing in my life right now. It's the ark, right? A shelter from the weather, and then an archive for the library of books that I've been trying to gather, which my son does and supports as well, that I wish you guys would do as well. I've asked, I quit even talking about it. Levette was there on TikTok when I was talking about it, about archiving the books. Buying up and going. This is it. This is the time I told everybody was coming. No, bunker is a bad word. And, that's a bad word that puts you on the list of the NSA. So no, I've already 10 years ago, I came out here strange. I have a shelter. I have a 50-foot shelter that I took 4 years because not one person would come dig one. I had not one other shovel taken out of that hole. Nobody helped me dig that hole. Not one person. Not one. My son was there that day when the culverts, because you can bury a culvert 150 feet of earth on top of a culvert without being smashed. This is the way Atlas Shelter Company builds their shelters. Started out that company, the largest shelter company in the world. You might check out Canadian Prepper if you want to look into some of this information. Okay. I took Atlas Shelter's design when they originally started it. It's a military design. And I use that to build the archive, to archive the books so they'd be buried. Heaven and earth shall perish, but my word will never die. The Aletheia, the Ruach HaKodesh, the living word written, as I told you, again, a witness. They spoke of the Revelation 12:13. As a witness, John, first, a celestial sign of the comings of the second coming of Christ, was spoken from his own mouth, putting in those pages that law, that Shem Testament, new revelation given to John. And now I've been a witness in my day to those words that celestial event come to life, that living, the word come to life in the heavens. Yeah, he's good. I like him. He's the best. Honestly, it's strange. I think he's covered the Ukrainian situation. And but guys, temporarily though, temporarily. Yes, we must, but we got to do it because we need to. For me, like I said, you can archive the books, guys. So if you get crushed, you get crushed. Oh well, who cares? You're supposed to celebrate. You get to go be with the Father. If you did what you did, you'll come back. Have some faith. Lion's den. Faith. Daniel kind of faith, brothers and sisters. You can't change a goat into a sheep into a goat. It's already done. It's already chosen. But you can be wise as Noah was. And I believe that he's calling out some of us. So I hope that there's something in your heart that he's calling out you to archive. For me, it's his word. It's in a shelter that the military style would use to survive massive bombardments of heavy. I remember I built a hail shelter, guys, too. An archive. I have to archive the word from a 150-pound hail. In that book of Revelation, it talks about hailstones the weight of a talent. That's 149 pounds and 14-ounce hail. I need to protect the word from that event in my eyes. See, I don't know what you're doing. This is what he has me doing. And I've asked people to participate if you will. You don't need a 50-foot archive shelter. You need a 10 by 10, something to put, I was talking about this company because I just used the design, and I've designed it would cost $150,000, $200,000 maybe to build this shelter that I'm continuing to build out here and hopefully to finish here soon. I put the floors in it. I'm super stoked, guys. I worked my tail off the other day and I did a lot of work, and I have been. When I'm not on here, I work really hard, and I got the floors in there, so I need to pour concrete. So I can't stay on here too much longer, and I'd like to pour some concrete potentially today and get this first layer of these rung of block going so that I can build it back up to the top so I can put this cap on the end of this shelter. 4 years of digging, nobody helped me come, not one shovel, brothers, sisters, because the Lord made me do it like Noah. Seriously, for 4+ years, I dug like a madman every day, buckets and two 5-gallon buckets at a time, one on one arm, one on the other, up and out of the dust flying all over my nose and my face. It just looked like through two hard pans, but I did it because I was led by the Lord. I used Noah as my, honestly, Noah, the word of God is what led me. I kept using that as my example. I know the world's going to tell me I'm crazy, but I don't care. They told Noah he was crazy, and I dug without ever thinking that Noah had 7 other people with him and a family. And then it hit me one day, and I got real lonely. And I've slowed a lot down since then, brothers and sisters, but it's already in the ground, and I already had built the one end cap for it. I don't have the exit, door, but the exit's there already built in, and the base of the cap for the other end, the entrance down into the shelter is going to be completed. And so I fight every day knowing that all this stupid idiot, this stuff on the earth is going to blow away or get pounded by 100. How do you survive 149-pound, 14-ounce hail? I think you need to build an archive, something deep enough to have at least 6, 8, 10 feet of dirt on top of you. You can't do that in a shipping container without reinforcing it, but you can do it in a steel culvert. I can't get a Canadian shelter, a prepper to, get that company to come out here, Atlas Shelter Company, and build it. I had to do it myself. I can't even sometimes, really, because of how I just spread my money to everybody else and do everything else, that I don't pay my own, that, lack in so many other places. But it's okay because of all of this. There's 65 acres out here that I manage and take care of through either payments, through, I have 45 acres that I still have to pay on, and I don't have an income source. So I'm pretty hot to trot about getting these buildings done as soon as I can, get them rented out. And I think that all this is going to come to pass, and maybe this will just blow over this house, so to speak, just miss, won't even come here. It'll miss this portion of the earth. I don't care. I'm going to die trying. No matter what, I'm going to die trying. And I know this will end in years. This will end in years, brothers and sisters. And that when I come back, because I'm that kind of person, I'm that forward of thinking. Do you know anybody on this earth that's trying to bury the word of God right now? Literally bury the books, bury and all the word, anything. I took, remember, Jewish books, all these other, anything I could thought that would be relevant to come back after I'm dead and come back here. Do you understand? Dead and come back here in my new body. Are you planning on doing anything in your new body? Nice. Nice. Good. Good to see your heart at work there, DSW. So, do you know anybody's thinking about, hey, when I come back and I'll have more flesh, another meat suit, that I want to come back and potentially know that these books are here in the ground? Because I don't believe in space farce and all that idiocracy. Grandma's in heaven. I don't believe that. Not for a second. I don't think any of that's even realistic. It's not biblically aligned. It's not scripturally aligned. I know that I'm either going to have gnash teeth for a time and season where he will release. I don't normally give that away, guys. Actually, that's something just me and my son have talked about. I don't know if I've ever shared that on this channel because I don't want to get people ahead of themselves. We still got to get out of this meat suit before we come back in our next one. If you get thrown in the eternal gnashing of teeth, the abyss, the place of no knowledge, remember what happens after a time or season, but please don't repeat that. That is a gift that I've given you. It's just in his word. You could have had it yourself if you'd have read it. It says that. It's just a cycle, brothers and sisters. This isn't something that's why I'm not worried about saying, hey, I'm from the past and the future. That's why my dad told me, whispered in my ear every day until he died, that I had never ended. He didn't tell my other brothers that. Never once did I hear him and see him, because I got to watch him put my brothers to bed sometimes. I had that. My younger brother lived with me in my room until he died. We didn't have separate rooms, and he never did that to him. And I know he didn't say that till I've seen him again. My older brother, he didn't even hardly do anything with my older brother. He told me in my ear every single night that I never ended. Told me crazy, spacey Tracy, the one he can hardly control. That'll never end. So I understand that I'm eternal, and I'm going to come back here again in the flesh, or I'll be below these books. But I'm hoping that the Most High, because of his will provide, and has recently, to ease some of this financial burden for me. And I've worked my tail off. I just sold 2 things on this homestead I didn't want to sell. A generator, which I didn't want to sell, and a log splitter, which I didn't want to sell. I haven't made any money from YouTube yet, because I can't get my AdSense to work. But I have been able to get PayPals, and I have been able to get some Cash App. So you guys have helped ease a little bit. And again, I took the money from the wood splitter, and I bought half of my land payment money with gravel, because I need to get people back here, guys. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit around and not pay the land payments. Then I wouldn't have anybody to offer, and I couldn't make an income out here. So nobody came. I'm okay with that. Now I'm making these cabins, and I'm hoping if I can listen, guys, I've got to get this done, because if I can get these cabin rentals done, I can get this land paid off. And just like that gravel that I paid the money for, just as I bought that, I could have tried to solicit. Oh yeah. Hey, hi, I'm Tracy. I've had people call me their pastor, and I didn't ask for a label. Obviously, I teach the gospel. But if I did put this into the church's name, you know what I'm saying? That this land here, 20, with the ark could get it right. The ark could personally, I could give this land $125,000, $150,000. You're filthy rags, fish. You're swine, and you'll be ashes under my feet, fish. Just so you know, you don't deserve your name. He's Pisces. The Lamb of God. I rebuke you. So this, no worries, guys. I'm not. God's doing, guys. God's doing. You know, guys, look, Iceman. I don't know. I'll respond to you, and I know I've seen your thing, but look, and I'll tell you, I'm not opposed. Let me finish what I'm saying and hold on a second, Iceman, because again, I can't stand here I've been almost an hour. Darn it. It doesn't matter, guys, because all is going to blow away to me. I just have the shelter to do. I don't really care. Jimmy Crack Corn. That's what I should have said to that fish guy, huh? Jimmy Crack Corn. You think I care what you say? You think 10 years? You think he's got a shelter? No, he's just a troll. He's a paper cutout like during a COVID football game. One-sided. So anyways, yeah, that's how I feel. You know, I have to wait, guys. I'm really waiting for the weather to break because I want to do it properly. I want to do this concrete. I'd rather wait, not do it today. It's going to be in the 30s over the next week or two out here. We get warmer, a little bit warmer days, but I'm in the high desert at 4,500 feet. We have cooler nights and warmer days. You know, and it's not even that, but we haven't broke the 40-degree overnight mark. And I know concrete. I grew up in the concrete and was born in the concrete jungle. The city of messengers, Los Angeles. I was born in the concrete jungle as a messenger, born in the city of messengers, and here to serve as his messenger with celestial eyes and the testament of the gospel of Paul, Matthew, Luke, Christ. Hallelujah. And I give this revelation, this apocalypse freely. And I appreciate if I bring up mentions because I have struggles just like everybody else, brothers and sisters. A man has got to pay his bills. And so I apologize that I've had to lean on this channel a little bit because of some issues, but I'm hoping that this will all be resolved for me very soon because you reap what you sow. You know, if I would have just been doing other things out here and not trying to build a homestead for people and just put all my money into myself, I wouldn't even have these problems. I could liquidate probably 80% of this stuff on this property and not even have any issues and be gone. You know, but I have issues just like everybody else because like my son thinks I'm crazy. I can't get rid of that dog because I've had him for 13 years. And that guy down there on the floor, I can't just be gone with my dogs. I have to provide a place for them. Rick's got the same problem. He's a dog lover. Animals, it's a commitment. You make a commitment to animals. If I didn't have these dogs, I could be anywhere in the world right now. Anywhere in the world I could be. But because I have animals, I want them to have stability. And this farm, they've always been raised on a farm. Tango's always lived on property, large parcels of property, pretty much most of his life. He's been in the city. He does okay, but it's not him. There's issues he has in the city because he's used to having some room to run. He's used to having his dad. He's high attention, like having a girlfriend. Maintenance. He's a high maintenance dog. He needs lots of love every single day. He needs to be told he's loved and gets attention. And just like a woman needs love, and that'd be great. Wish somebody would tell me they love me. Could hear it in my ear. Personally, somebody's hot breath on the side of my face. So my dogs are what I have, brothers, sisters. I take care of them. I have this land, and this is the commitment that I made to God. You know, again, I already moved myself away from society with my son and said I can't do that to him. Just sit there and disappear, you know, at a place that had plenty of food running and wild animals running everywhere near a large, massive body of water where nobody, you know, behind lock gate. But that was a long time ago, over 10. I'd already won. I won. Ha ha. I knew this cycle was coming. I won. I got ahead of you guys. I got my apocalypse bus. You're saying you're a prophet without saying it. You're a devil in sheep's clothing. Hey, Dick. Hey, Dick. Richard, Dick, there's no such thing as prophecy, you ignorant swine. You ignorant swine. Prophecy was nailed to the stake, you ignorant fool. Get out of here, Dick, Richard. There's no such thing as modern day prophecy. Get the out. Exit stage right or left or Levette. Get this Dick out of here, Richard Nixon, tricky Dick. Get Richard out of here. There's no such thing as prophecy. You're blasphemous, an apostate. You're Satan. You're an adversary to God. Get behind me, Satan. There's no such thing as modern day prophecy, brothers, sisters. Don't listen to the idiocracy of this world. I unpervert this religious nonsense. So in this book, A Living Testament Walk, brothers and sisters, again, knowing that, you know, I have to take care of what I have to out here in the flesh, like everybody else. I have bills to pay. So soon, hopefully, these cabin rentals will be rented out. And I think this idea is absolutely over the top. When I had the guy come deliver the gravel, guys, he saw the UFO out here, which I don't believe in spaceships or aliens or any of that silly. But I have that UFO that I built out here. Remember, guys, I spent $13,000 for that 5 acres, which I have almost paid off. See what I'm saying? Watch. See what I'm saying? You're a filthy swine. I can't believe you're not. You should have just left. I don't want your idiocracy in here. I don't have to keep company with vipers, Richard. So I purchased that land almost 5 years ago, guys, and I paid that off. I could have bought myself the truck, the double cab truck that I want, that I need for my dog, so I could go on the road right now and not even stay here. To hell with this. I apologize. I've tried. It doesn't even matter. I could always come back here. It's not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But I bought land for the community. And then I built the darn thing, and they wouldn't even help me once it tilted to get it back up in the position, and then it tilted and the wind caught it, and then my guide wires broke and it fell down. And I've got years of building all that together for the community. It's known out here, brothers and sisters. When the guy came to deliver the gravel, he's like, oh, wow, there it is. I was wondering where that was at. I said, well, the guide wire. See, his dad, guys, his dad was the one who I asked to borrow the ladder. They're the people who run this town out here. They got all the ching, 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 ching. They're the only contractor that's been out here for quite some time. CCB is the only one. Come out here to the CCB. You can make a mint. Come out as a mechanic, mobile. You'll lay on a floor you lay in with the little tent. You know, you can make $500 a day out here cash, not even pulling off hanging parts pretty much. Or you can just do, you know, no cracking of the heads or all of that. That's all. Yeah. Speaking of, I think we got one in here. Speaking of crackheads, think I am. Yep. Get out of here. So anyways, probably won't have anybody here estranged by then. I want to make that very clear. The doors will be shut by then. See, that's what I'm saying, estranged. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm saying. You know, I'm not going to do that because, and it's not saying that I wouldn't form a community, because remember I told you I'm going to do it differently then. I don't want to shoot everybody outside my property and have to worry about, you know, picking up, you know what I mean? I actually would try to bring people into my community in layers. You stay on this side of this area and you eat, I've talked to you this before, brothers, you eat rice and beans. Day 1. Second day, rice and beans. Day 2. Third day, beans and rice with a little bit of chicken bouillon on there, and that's a game changer. Oh. Rice and beans, white rice and beans, day 5. Where'd that chicken bouillon go? You're going to start coming back better as your food and your nutrition and your protein and your calorie count comes back up. If I find somebody, brothers, sisters, that I think has a skill set, I want to build a community. I don't want to unalive people. I probably won't give them anything. I would turn them away with nothing, because I don't want people coming back going, hey, this is a handout. You can either come within this walls and be potentially brought in. You're never going to see that person's eating steak over there. Freeze-dried meals, but they've been there. They're part of the base. They'll get there. See, I have a whole different plan. I have a whole different plan. Do you understand? I have a whole, I plan on extorting people for their skill set, what they can do with their hands and their head and their, and I don't care what people have. Remember, that doesn't matter. Everything can be taken from you in a second, guys, and you have no skill set, you're screwed. You're literally, you need a skill set. Everybody has a skill set in my eyes, potentially. So when I do this, brothers and sisters, I know how this is going to work. I planned on this for more than a decade to build a community while everybody's just trying to protect the little things they have. There's safety in numbers. And if you do this properly, there's a reason God made me a veteran, which I don't like. There's a reason why God made me a police officer, which I don't like. There's a reason why he made me a reconstructionist. Correct? So that I can obviously understand when most people are like Cindy, who are going to talk and thinks they're some kind of psychiatrist, gets psychiatric help, is just going to shoot people. That's what Cindy's going to do. Just take your life, because Cindy ain't got nothing. It ain't gonna matter if it's a woman or a man. Women are brutal, brothers and sisters. Women are vicious and strong. And you ever seen them? They can dislodge a near watermelon and bleed and leak nearly 6 or 7 or 8 quarts of blood or oil every month, and they don't die. They're very strong. So don't think when a hungry woman is thinking with her gut and she's got children, stomachs at home, she won't take your life like Cindy. Cindy will take your life in a country second, I guarantee it, because she ain't got nothing. She's motivated by empty mouths waiting at home. Good luck, Cindy. Hope you don't have any kids. So psychiatric help. See what I'm saying, guys? These are the people that are going to be your enemy. These people who come in here and put insane comments instead of doing something about it, adding to the chat, adding to what's being brought in here, adding instead of they add swine, filthy vomit tsunamis of toxicity that are vile and vain and not even worth the time. So thanks for moderating these people out here. So anyways, thank you, Strange. This is what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. I wanted the community because I know for survival instincts, I'm trained and certified in very many different unarmed self-defense training through my law enforcement, military. You got to imagine I was a military police suit, all the first responder. I was a traffic reconstructionist as a law enforcement officer in the military, and outside I did traffic reconstruction. So that means that I have first responder training. If I'm running code 3 to get to your body that's ripped in pieces and you're still somehow alive and you've got part of your intestines hanging out, I'm going to be the guy that's going to come tuck them back in your body and give you first emergency medical, on scene. I have all that certification. I have to have the same thing. I'm the one who shows up before I call for the EMT. When I get a call, you guys, I don't know if you've ever done anybody in traffic reconstruction, and I don't want to go into this too deep, but a lot of the times, guys, when you get a call, they say 500 Tango 4, I got a 1075 on a white and color Ford and a blue and color, I've got one November Mike and one Charlie Mike. They're calling out male and their ethnicity, and they're telling, and that there's no blocking and no injuries. No blocking and no injuries, right? And I show up to the accident, right? No, it's not an accident. It's a crash. Traffic crash reconstruction. The rules of the road are designed for people not to bump into each other, even with the law of due regard, unless of mechanical failure. Cars are not meant to be knocking into each other. But if that's what happened and I get the call and then the call comes in that there's no blocking or no injuries, there's many a times that I have showed up and there's people literally, on their last moments, needing that emergency services provided to them when I get no blocking and no injuries. Or I get a call, 500 Tango 4, I've got, multiple 1075, an accident, on multiple vehicles, they've got blocking and injuries and, potential, I don't want to go there, I show up and there's no blocking, no injuries. So it doesn't always matter. So I want to make you understand that I had the training, the certification to know how to do this. Okay. So I understand, again, in these emergency situations, you know what I'm saying, of how people are going to respond. And honestly, in a lot of training I've had, but that, that's a skill set, but I can have everything taken from me. So I think that the Most High made me through this, which I carry the burden of being a veteran, honorably discharged veteran. I hate that term, honorably discharged veteran. You serve the beast. Yeah, okay, I'm a trained killer. Yay. What ignorance, So I don't plan on whacking anybody. I plan on building a community because I've had a lot of leadership skills, reconstruction skills, and I can look forward and think how this might work, where most people just played out, I'm going to protect my stuff. But if you don't build a community during this time, you are going to get run over by the marauders that will forage large numbers very quickly because they're hungry to come run over the small numbers of people. So yes, you can survive short term. Yes, I have a lot of skills, but that's just survival. If you want to thrive, brothers and sisters, you cannot build a community without you. You can't spell community without you and I, correct? It's essential. To thrive, it takes community. To survive, well, anybody can do that short term, not long term. Long term survival and then thriving takes community. So my knee-jerk reaction to do what I do, I don't feel bad. When I hit the dirt and I'm dead, I'm not going to feel bad for all the things I didn't have the double cab Tacoma truck to just go on the road right now and get away from this. I don't want to do this one more day. I'm tired of being alone out here. I'm tired of struggling like this. I just want to preach the gospel. I don't want to do anything else. But I'm not going to stop doing what he made me do, because that's just the idolater in me that just wants to run away from what he's telling me to do. I could easily sell things. I could sell that 20 acres that I bought, that I was saving to pay this land off. That one came for sale. So I had to buy it. I didn't want a neighbor. And it worked out for the best because I have all the privacy out here to sit here without anybody bothering me. It's quiet. Thousands of hours to talk to God. Yeah. Bye, goat. Pound sand, buddy. You don't deserve the words that you're writing on the screen. You really don't. You're filthy swine. You could put something good in here. Instead, you're trying to get me to. I'm being personal, and you're getting involved in my life. I'm not talking to you. Be gone with you. You're filthy swine. So that would be ideal, brothers and sisters. But instead, I've done what I've done. So I have no regrets. Because not only was I trying to form that community, brothers and sisters, to survive long term, right, and thrive, I wanted to eat better food. I wanted to provide and give this opportunity to other people, because there are many people who love to do, and I know the life that I live. It's a little bit harder life than most people live. It's much harder, actually, because I'm a minimalist. And as I told my son when he came out here, I was like, you can have all the amenities, son, that you have where you live. We can make all that. I make all my own power. He can do all the same thing. This is all much more fancy. His system will be a lot more nice than mine. I am a minimalist. I carry my water. I have pumps. I have pipes. I have everything. I have everything to hook it all up. I don't hook it up. Why? It's just me out here. I don't care. You appreciate every drop of water. When you carry that water 5 gallons at a time, you load it, you bring it in, you appreciate the water that you have. You won't waste not a drop. So I don't like to be wasteful, waste not, want not. I live like that. I live as a totally on, used wood, and built my little wandering Jew out here in the desert, if you call it inwardly spiritual Jew, tabernacling out here in the high desert. Just you know? So I have no regrets. I don't. I'd love to just preach the gospel. And I don't think that's what God wants for me, because he could have made any of that happen already. I've already had tried for months and months and years to sell assets and things, and it just didn't work out. My brain always puts my money somewhere else towards that community. Don't give up, Tracy. It'll happen. Just put your more money towards, I don't focus too much on anything else other than still continuing to try to build out this, my dream now for this property would be to give into the church, to High Desert Grace and Truth Ministries, donated all my work, even the $150,000 archive, so the word could be archived here, and build out a library and a place of study. So you're a filthy swine, you disgusting drug. Report this person for drug usage, please. Mad. Man, we're reporting you my visions for drug insinuation. Stop pushing drug usage in YouTube comments. There are sometimes that the YouTube channel doesn't filter children. So stop acting like a child and insinuating drug usage, please. Please report this gentleman for mad visions there. What is first and last? You've been reported. Report this person for drug usage right here, please. Thank you. So anyways, brothers and sisters, hopefully I'll get my son out here soon. There you go. Report this person for drug usage. Nicholas is implying drug usage again. DeVito, you're a filthy swine, man. You don't have to put that in here, but yet you do. You're insinuating drug usage again. Report Nicholas DeVito for drug usage, please. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, you've been reported for drug usage. You're insinuating drug usage. Please don't insinuate drug usage in here. So sometimes YouTube doesn't monitor out the child. They've been pretty good. I've looked at the analytics, so we don't need the children, and people act like children. I don't want to hang around people who are ignorant and childish. So I don't do that to my body, okay? I take care of myself. I'm not 50 years old and work whoever you keyboard warriors, one day you wouldn't make it on this farm with me. Not one. I've already invited 50 of you to come out here and dig some holes with your silly idiocracy threats. Some of you keyboard warriors, yeah, I have in the past. I don't incite violence. I let God fight all my battles. I challenge them to a hole digging contest, and then to try to make amends and maybe, because I grew up in a time where a man and another man could, he could be my mortal enemy in school for a quarter of the year, and then we don't try to beat the brakes off each other, because that wasn't like that back then. And then we're best friends the rest of the year. I don't condone violence, but that's a problem with people today. They don't even have that sort of opportunity, and you get soft, weak men, because, easy times breed weak men and hard times breed strong men. And so this is an easy time for none of these people would make it one day out on this farm with me, and that's fine. I'm not trying to change anybody, but I've never incited that I'd beat the snot or brakes off anybody. I actually asked them to come out here and dig some holes with me, but nobody's ever taken me up on it, brothers, sisters. I have a marker and have invited. Anybody could have showed up at any time, because I have left my location. I'm not hard to find. Everybody in town knows who I am. I'm the guy who built the UFO, guys. You can't be the craziest guy in town unless you build the UFO, right? So anyways, I'm not hard to find, but I always just challenge people to a hole digging contest. What's your people with making people dig holes? See, guys, cash is king. Put it in the ground. Cash, not C-A-S-H, but C-A-C-H-E, cash. So what's your infatuation with digging holes? Go ahead, you keyboard warriors. You know where I live. Come on out here and challenge you to a hole digging contest. And then I said, if you want to beat the brakes off me and physically be violent with me, if that's going to get it out of your system, I'll give you my cheek. I'll let you try to, I won't strike you back. I'll let you beat the snot out of me if that's what you feel. I'll sign a waiver. I'm not into violence. I let God fight all my battles. Don't turn me back to the old me. You can't do that to me. I'm a pacifist. I'd actually like to run to the woods and get away from all you people. You're idiots for not getting ready for this event. You truly are ignorant. This celestial alignment was at the time of Christ, and he spoke about no stir. I did. I just said it. I don't care that Jimmy crack corn. Okay. I don't have any. If God's calling you to do it, why do I have to worry and take the time to care about what God is calling you to do. He's doing it, not me. You're already going to be doing it. You'll be in the Hadosh. We'll be talking about the same things. We won't be talking about drugs and stupid idiocracy things that don't matter. We are going into a celestial alignment that we haven't seen in over 2,600 years. And when we were in this alignment last time, this earth got rocked by weather, period. So it's going to get rocked again, in my opinion, and in ways we already seen effects. Dueling tornadoes 2 years in a row in California. Get out of here. So it's already happening. The jet streams, that's what I'm saying. So I don't have any more time for, apologize for addressing the trolls again. I could just start doing my own moderating, but I don't want to do that because my moderators do such a great job. I don't want to step on their toes, guys. But if I had my way, I'd moderate anything that wasn't on topic, guys. I really would. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have conversations with people anymore. I want to have conversations with people who are getting ready for this event, that want to make it through the other side of this successfully and thrive, not just survive. And so I don't feel bad for what I've done over the last 10, 15 years. If I wasn't successful, I told you, Rick down the road, he tried to do the same thing, guys. Most people talk about going off grid. Most people think it's a good idea, but it's not a lot of people who do it. And that's fine. I know a lot of people want to do it. And it's not easy to do. And a lot of places is just way over regulated. You can't live without over regulation in a lot of places. People build up and think they have all these, they can go live in this tiny home and go off. No, they can't. It's illegal to be homeless in 48 states, brothers and sisters. So it's really hard to just go move somewhere without having, all the permits. They don't allow that. You ain't going to tell me what to do out here, and they are not. I'm done running the code ordinance office out of here. I've done talk with the county about this. They're not. He will have a hole somewhere in his body, probably somewhere in his upper torso, if he enters in another property in this town. He's already been told, do not step foot without a warrant. I don't care if you're the federal government, if you're the people in this town don't play that. This is a township. This is probably one of the roughest towns to be in the United States. I ain't gonna lie to you. Look up the history of this town. They're known. These farmers are known for running. These millionaires are known for running people out of here, running people out of this town. They have for decades, guys. They only allow in this town what they want. Well, not no more. Not since I came to this town has it been like that. No, it hasn't. So I was just dealing with the number one pretty much contractor in town. It's his son, okay, that I was dealing with. And he was pretty excited when he saw that UFO. So I think I'm going to try to, like I said, guys, I still got to do things of the flesh. I'm going to try to potentially, like I said, I'd like to give this land to the church. I'm going to ask probably for some help. I'm going to put something on the internet, maybe put that UFO back out on the highway again. Because I don't think my son wanted to live up there. I kind of temporarily held off. I thought he'd want the 5 acres on the highway on the 395, the highway up there. It's CV Highway, Pegmas Valley Highway. I call it Pegmas, but Christmas Valley Highway. And they're both the parcels. He wants to go to the 20-acre Bowens property. And that's the property that I bought that's still paying on both those two properties, and I pay on this one still as well. But that's a beautiful 20-acre parcel of Table Rock, and that's where I think he's going to eventually, he wants to take that property out of my name because I've been paying on it for a couple or a few years now. He said he wants to give me the money that I'm investing in it because I was going to potentially thinking about selling it recently to somebody who went and looked at it and is living on the way opposite side of town. And when they bought out here, they didn't think, they just bought, and they bought property out by the dunes, which is very reasonably priced, probably under $1,000 an acre out there right now still. But this property over here is 30, 40, 50,000 for the same 20-acre parcel, depending on how close it is to Table Rock or Silver Lake. The closer you get to the school or Table Rock, there's things that bring these things up in value. So, hey, Iceman, look, I want to say before you go, I might consider somebody can come out here and be 100% self-sufficient. But I can't have somebody out here I have to look after. Somebody'd have to be like I had, and it's no problem that I had Sai out here, Yaya, the moderator. He's just city, though, and he didn't work. He was leaving gates open, and he was just too city. But if somebody could come out here and be self-sufficient and add to what I'm doing, I'm not opposed to having somebody come out here, Iceman. I'm not. But I can't look after you. You need to be doing you, I do me, and we add to each other out here, kind of like a wife. And I'm not asking you, I don't swing on that side of the fence, remember? No. But my point of what I'm saying is I need somebody who can, so I need somebody that has all their own things, so to speak. What I like, my son, Elijah, is the one who told me this. He's like, Dad, and he already told me before Yaya came out here. He's like, and I think it makes perfect sense. You know, if you could come out and be self-sufficient, and I wouldn't have to worry about you, and you could build your own cabin and maybe you already had the things you need, the tools you need, all, so you don't have to rely on me at all. That's what I need out here. I need somebody, actually, I'm maybe looking for a partner who wants to partner up for me and build a couple of these cabins at 125, 150 a night. You know, you could very easily live a comfortable living. That's what I'm trying to convince my son. And he's like, oh yeah, I think that makes sense. And he wants to do some other things, but build 1 or 2 cabins at 125, 150 a night. Those 2 loads of gravel, or that 1 load of gravel, could have been paid with 2 nights rental out here. Dry camp cabin too, not some bed and breakfast with all the amenities. It's the Dark Sky Sanctuary. We just had the biggest billboard ever labeled on this place. Come see the best place to see the stars in the world. The largest dark sky sanctuary in the world. Do you understand? They're not a better place to see the stars. What do you think that UFO up on the highway was about? It was always about these cabins back here, brothers and sisters, as well. I have a long-term goal of what I've always done out here. Many things that I'm doing all the time. I've got many irons in the fire, you know, so that's what I would consider for somebody to come out here, but they'd have to be 100% self-sufficient. I can't look after you. You're doing your thing. And if I could, hey, I'm taking the day off. I'm gonna come help you because tomorrow I need your help. Okay, cool. You know, that's how it needs to be. I can't look after anybody. I've done it now, trying to force myself onto the internet. And because I was a little bit lonely, reach out to try to find some companionship, and using the internet, tried to just basically help somebody out, as I always do, which turned into something which was just taken away. And it didn't, you can't force God's will, you know? So I've tried a couple times to have people out here, but it doesn't, you know, as far as that, I'm talking about Trish, you know, who I was talking about, I can't force that situation. So that'll be, I feel blessed that nobody's come out here and gave me a, you know, an issue now, because I ain't having it. I'm just not going to have it. But anyways, that's what I'm going to need out here. And so if I could actually find somebody who's interested and wants to go in like a partnership, I'm not as opposed to anybody tagging the name or do an addition, because you're just going to add to what I'm doing out here. You build 2 or 3 cabins out, as I have out here, and you rent those out at 125 to 150 night. You rent those out 10 times a month each. That's cheddar that I don't make no money a month. But yet I have these things, you know what I'm saying? Because I work, guys. When I say I make no money, it's because I fix and I buy and I trade and I sell. And that's what I need to do, is get off here now. Go try to work on the cabin. Don't worry about the shelter, even though it's bothering me that I need to do it. But I need to wait for the weather to break out here so I can do the concrete. So when it sets, it cures at above 40 degrees. We're not that year yet. And I keep wanting to rush back to do that, but it's okay. I've put all the material in place. You know what I'm saying? Not yet. I have to finish them. I got to finish them. That's why I got to get off here and go get these done. I need to be excited. My son's coming out here and he's probably going to get tucked in that cabin. If not, I'm going to probably move into that cabin when he gets out here and put him into this bigger, the Rusty Cowboy, because this has more space. That's 20, you know, by 10, that's building. This is 40, you know, by 8. This is a much bigger building, and I feel much more comfortable with him being in here. Not that he can have, I already told him he can have whatever one he wants. When he shows up, I want him to try to get out here, but he's trying to do everything to get out here, to not come out here, because he was going to come out here and look at that Bowen's property to see where he wants. But I got to get him somewhere here first on the ground, and we can go right over. It's only 3 miles down the road and start building. So the options are, you know, I have the 53-foot tractor trailer. I think that's what we're going to turn into his home. 53 feet of living space. I already have the roof for it tilted over on its side, and the roof was peeled back a little bit. I already have a roof. I already have all the building materials over there. We want to haul that over to the Bowens, we will. So see what I'm saying, guys? The possibilities out here for me are just completely unlimited as far as that. But I've just got to work through this hard time to get through, you know, because eventually, once I said I can get these cabins to generate enough money, I'm paying this land off. And I'm immediately, I hope you guys will still with me. I hope the net is still up. If I can do this, it might happen this spring, guys. I'm hoping to have, you know, I just had somebody that wanted to potentially, now it was just a hit, rent out my 12 hip camp spots. I have hip camp spots over there that are $45 a night to come out here and park with your toilet. You set up your place. It's dry camp. It's dry camp. Huh. All right, guys, I got to get off here. I got to take care of something that's a little bit more pressing. But again, if I can do this, guys, then I can get this paid off. I could donate this land to the ministry, including the shelter. And then that gravel that I had brought out here could probably been asked to donate these things to the ministry. So I'll have a much, starting to rain out here, a little sprinkle. I'd have a much better chance, guys. And I don't want the label, but I would do it for the ministry, brothers and sisters. I would do it for the ministry. Okay. You know, hi, hey, my name is Pastor Tracy. I'm with High Desert Grace and Truth Ministries. We're out there in Silver Lake, Oregon. We're trying to build a church out there, and we need to be able to get our members back into the church. Would you consider donating gravel to this ministry? It's a tax write-off. You can write it. Here is the name of the ministry. It's High Desert Grace and Truth. It's owned by the ministry. I don't own the land. It was donated. It was donated to the ministry. There's a 28 or parcel there, and we need to get people back into. You guys, look at these 3 cabins. There's 3 cabins on this property that I can donate to the ministry that could house people to come here. Temporary housing for people to live in temporarily, which also could be rented out to generate money for the ministry, to try to build more housing, to have more people to come live no cost or low cost living on the ministry. They'll be able to come here and live at High Desert Grace and Truth for next to nothing or low cost or no cost. A lot of it would hopefully be able to work their hours back towards the community garden, the solar panels that need. There's obviously duties out here, but I would love to bring some elderly folks out here too that are on fixed incomes and get their costs to nothing so they can spend all that income, their Social Security check or whatever, on their self, instead of just paying for a roof over their head, the basics that they can barely cover. So if I have this works the way that I want to, this land, the shelter, $150,000 storm shelter, 3 cabins that would generate a source of income for them, lots of kennels to house a full homestead, a full functioning, working homestead could be operated through here, this farm, and this ministry could be set up. So if I could, maybe you know somebody's interested, coming over here to the West Coast, helping me out. As soon as I can get this land paid off, I can donate it to the church, and it can never be taxed ever again. The government cannot tax this land once it's donated to the ministry. I'm not talking about 501c3. We'll own it, right? The church itself, we, the church, will own it. The body of Christ, Grace and Truth over here at High Desert, this will be the bodies. That way, the government can never take it either. And no matter what they're doing with this great taking that's coming and all that, this would help avoid that situation. Can't be taxed or taken by the government, proving you how powerful God's word is, how powerful his house truly is. So if you know anybody wants to help out with this, this is what I'm trying to do. The sooner I can get these cabins done, the sooner I can get this land paid off. So I got to get off here, guys. I'd love to sit here and just chat all day. I wish the land was paid off and I could just get in the pulpit and just preach all day long, teach and pastor the word, the gospel. But that's not his plan for me. I still have an archive to finish. Nobody here to help me. It's not going to do it by itself. These shelters, I don't care if it rained. I can't make excuses. I worked all through the winter in excruciating pain. For all winter I worked, so no more excuses for me. And this is not. I'm just trying to come in here and do what it is that he calls me to do. I already did my daily cross update. Wanted to come back in, talk about, get this out of my head, man. I can't stand that I just have all this stuff to do. I know it's all going to blow away probably, but it's okay. I'll make it to that time and place, and maybe it won't even, it'll pass by here like Passover, right? The price will have been paid. The blood will be marked over the post. We'll do what we need, and it will pass over this place, and it will not affect here. So we'll reap what we sow, brothers and sisters. So if you want to donate to High Desert Grace and Truth, I appreciate it. I went to the mail, and I had a couple people send me some money orders, and that is such a blessing. It wasn't a large amount, but it was enough to start to add back that $330 that I'd spent on gravel to try to get people. It's a give and take out here, guys. It's all, Rob, Peter, PayPal, and I know that every one of us are in this situation. So I may be asking you if you know somebody who's maybe a little bit better off that wants to maybe look at this area out here, maybe invest in what I believe will be one of the most, you could put this place on the map very easily. Again, I said that UFO, when the guy came to deliver gravel and he saw it, he's like, oh, he said there's people, he knows people that live out of the state, and I've spoken with people out of the state that have seen it, guys. It basically was a billboard to get you to come out here to the cabins because there's a secret military base out here, Area 52. There's a lot of things that are seen in the sky out here that are military, just old tech. Remember, I don't believe in aliens, but don't ruin the experience for them, okay, guys? If somebody comes out here and thinks they see something, they want to go home with a bunch of fairy tales, let them live their fairy tale, right? That's always what the UFO was for. It was also to bring attention that there's no such thing as aliens. It was more diverse, very diverse. I'm a very diverse guy, guys. Brothers, sisters, appreciate your time. I got to end this stream. I cannot thank you enough for tuning in. Cash App link in my bio. If you know anybody who wants to invest in me in this area, come check it out. This is an amazing place to ride out a temporary storm. Storms don't last forever. They're temporary. 5 of 25 is an issue that we haven't talked about. You should probably stay with me through 10/24/24 because 5 of 25 is an event that I've never seen marked in the heavens. The earth itself, whether you geocentric or heliocentric, you can switch it. The model works on both ways, guys. We're going to swing out. Potentially, we'll use the heliocentric model in front of the sun. Even the only celestial bodies with the remaining 8 sitting on the other side of the sun. I've never seen that celestial alignment ever. And I'm a cycle, guys. Remember, I try to pick cycles that I've seen again and again and again and again and again. I don't try to pick, you know what I'm saying? I don't try to pick individual events. Never before in the history of mankind. I don't try to pick those events, do I? That's not Tracy. Tracy's like, hey, this is nothing new under the sun. Here we go again. Hey, you guys, there's a valve stem on this bicycle wheel. Yes, there's a valve stem here. There's only one, and it takes a long time for that valve stem. People forget there's a valve stem. I want them to jump. Get out of the way when it comes, right? Jump. Get out of the way when it comes, not just get knocked down. Use this term, brothers and sisters. It takes a long time for that valve stem to come around on a wheel. So as you're talking to these people away from here, sure, they're going to know. Sure, they're going to know. Well, hey, you guys just jumped. You see all those people got knocked over? Next time it comes around, jump. Hey, you guys, it's going to come. I'm not going to tell you down here. I've already need to be prepared and getting ready to jump myself, right? Yeah, get the mask that falls down from the airplane when the airplanes go down and help yourself first before you help others. Yeah, I call it the tsunami theory. They want me to run out there when the water pulls back. And, hey, tsunami! No, they get their chairs and, hey, look at this guy, he's crazy. And they follow the water out there. I can't help them, brothers and sisters. I'm going to get there before that wall of water starts coming back in. That's when they want me to go out there, hey, tsunami, when it's coming in, right? I can't save my ass or theirs at that point, correct? We're both toast. Your brothers, sisters, I blow the horn early so I can give you a chance to jump out of the way of what is coming. So a valve stem on one bicycle tube, this takes a long time for people forget. So when I'm over here telling people to jump, they're crazy because they've forgotten. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get you to understand. When I pay attention to a cycle, not a one-time event either. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This other is different, but I'm trying to tell you there's a cycle. There's a valve stem on this wheel. It's coming around. This is a parable. Does that make sense? I want to speak in parables so that some of you know, because you're on this line and you're talking to tell people, hey, valve stem, get ready to jump. Hey, remember what happened last time? What do you mean? That was so long ago. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't worry about it, brothers and sisters. Get ready. Get ready. You're right. Trust your instincts. Trust your gut. If you know the evidence, you know what you've seen before, and it's a cycle. This isn't prophecy. It's a cycle. Get ready for the cycle. That's all that I've been blowing the horn about, is the cycle. Remember? Just the cycle. Now, I did talk about this 5 of 25 event. Something I've never seen. Let's get past this jump first, and then we'll talk about that, okay? If that makes sense. That's why I don't talk about it yet. I know about it. I've shown it a couple times. Only got just puny number of times on here, but it will happen too, guys. This is a celestial event, and many of us are going to be wise. We'll have our loins girded in his service, doing what we were told to do. We will be burning bright with our lamps trimmed back. We don't know the day or the hour. We will have not only the oil in our lamps, we will not get caught going to the store. We will be headed in the right direction before that door gets slammed on the foolish virgins. They were headed in the wrong direction. So I hope your loins, again, shovels in the ground, whatever it is that he has you doing, preparing for this day so that you can jump over this hurdle and move on with your life and reap what you sow. Nothing is permanent. It's a cycle and it comes back around. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? So I hope that's edifying. I hope this word edifies you. And again, if you know anybody that might be interested in coming out here, setting up shop with me to open up some of these moonshine cabins, that doesn't have anything to do with alcohol. Nope, my moonshine cabins don't have to do with alcohol. If you want to bring some alcohol out here and have a drink with whatever you're part of, that's not mine. I don't put restrictions. But a lot of people think when they hear moonshine cabins, they automatically, that's like the UFO billboard guys. I'm a very multifaceted man. You know that the sunshine is hotter, right, than the shade. And the moonshine is colder than the shade. Huh? Yeah, if you stand in the shade, it's warmer than in the moonshine. It is colder in the moonshine than the shade. Colder in the shade in the sun, but hotter in the sun. Hotter in the sun, colder in the moonshine. Moonshine cabins. Moonshine cabin rentals. It's its own light source, brothers and sisters. People have been watching this moon, noticing that the sun is below the moon and it's lighting up from the top. I've been telling you this, YouTube, for 6 years now. Remember? There it is, right there. The day moon. During the day. Notice it's not in the dark. It's during the day. Lit up on the top. 7 years ago, I started warning you guys about what this moon was doing. I have more moons on me tattooed than anybody I know. So, all right. So that's what the Moonshine Cabins is about. It's a spiritual thing, brothers and sisters. It doesn't have anything to do with being drunk in the spirit and alcohol. Okay. All right. Anybody else that you know that wants to be a part of this? I'm so excited to get my son out here. He's going to build his own cabins. He's going to have his own source of income, and he's going to sit out here and have a life. You know what he's going to have? Time, which is way more important than money or any possession. I hope his woman, who works hard to make the money that she works to help provide, as they both provide, to take care of that nice place that it's so close to your neighbor. If you fart, you can hear it or potentially smell it. But it is a nice place. It's clean, and they work hard for it, but they're busting their tail paying somebody else's way. And again, his generation, you know, that generation, they don't even think that they're ever going to own a home. And actually, statistics show now that most people in this day and age will never own a home. It's hard to fathom that my son might be out here in a month or two, maybe at the most, hopefully sooner, before the weather. Only got so much time, building his own house with his lady. And like a blank canvas, instead of working their time for the man, they'll be building their own house with that same time. Wow. I told you guys this could be my Jubilee year, and it surely has. Thank you, Father. 50 years Is the debt forgiveness cycle 7 Shemitah years of 7 is 49 years. I am 50. I'm eternal, but in this meat suit, I'm 50. And this is be the debt. Our Father who art in heaven, glorify thy law, thy Shem, thy authority, thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive us our debtors. Man, I wish I'd listened to that years ago. Anyways, brothers and sisters, a debt jubilee, it was all the debt that was acquired after 7 Shemitah cycles of 7, 49 years. On the 50th year, there was a jubilee year. So this is my jubilee year. Okay? I hope, and it's feeling like it too, guys. I feel like this is more than I ever could have expected. So no matter what happens, it's okay. If my son doesn't make out or if it doesn't matter, whatever he's trying to do, it doesn't matter. It's all, if I don't, I've already succeeded. And I feel very honored to have Civic in here as my brother, mother, son. He truly loves the word, and he's an example of a man of God. And I'm very thankful to have, even though he's not here with me, he's always a phone call away normally, and he works hard. And he's had some pretty tough situations, and he's made it through, and he's going to continue to make it through. He's making big changes in his life right now to try to accommodate this thing that I'm talking about. So I have mad respect. That's what I'm saying. I want to try to be with people who want to do something about what I'm talking about. I see it in lots of ways in his life. You know, he's taking this word seriously, economically, you know, the event, everything. It's massive changes. His woman too, just ripping their life apart, guys, right now. Everything they were doing, just it's like a tornado in their life. So they're making huge changes. And I'm very, you know, again, I think it's awesome to be a witness to that. I know they're trying really hard every day, and I hope you guys are doing the same thing. That's what I'm saying. Their loins are girded in the service of the Lord. I can see it. They're getting ready for this event, like many of us. Hopefully, that's not many. Oligas. So much love. Get your ark ready, brothers and sisters. Again, link is in that bio for the Cash App, PayPal. If you want to do that, Lanecountychoppers have a P.O. box. Thank you again for everybody's tied to the ministry. I'll see you guys back here on the next live stream. Walk and follow in the commandments of God. I hope you love him. Okay? Thank you again for your time, guys. Remember, I am Revelation. I am Apocalypse. Whoa.